My name is Garrett Johnson. I am a co-founder of Lincoln Network, and I think we got the house music taken care of. I am a co-founder of Lincoln Network, and we are very excited to have you here. So I'll tell you a little bit more about Lincoln shortly, but just housekeeping. Wi-Fi is available, the AT&T Wi-Fi, no password, simple, easy, very easy to use. The hashtag, I will advance the screens. The hashtag is Reboot Innovation, and so we will be active on social, and so just keep that in mind. You can also find more about Lincoln Network at joinlincoln.org or at joinlincoln, and so likes are appreciated. Today would not be possible without the generosity of our sponsors, so we want to thank AT&T. We are in their space. The forum team has been fantastic, so we very much appreciate them. The Knight Foundation is a sponsor, as well as the Center for Growth and Opportunity at Utah State University. So they have been really great partners in putting on this event, and we are super excited to have their support. Lincoln Network is where liberty and technology meet. We are focused on bringing together tech innovators and policymakers in spaces like this, in Bay Area, and other tech hubs around the country to talk about really important issues, both that are front and center now and emerging technology issues. We are unapologetically skeptical of anything that would inhibit innovation, and we are optimistic about a future of human flourishing. And so in all of our events, you will see that meta-narrative echoed in the conversations, which I think you will hear today as well. Before moving any further, I wanted to highlight that Lincoln Network has grown, and we have added some really high caliber people here in DC to our full-time team. Zach Graves came on a little less than a year ago as our head of policy. Pretty much everyone in the room knows Zach. You probably have had drinks with him, knows he's a fun time, and we're super excited to have his leadership. In addition to that, we have been honored to add Ryan Radia to our team as our senior policy counsel, as well as Will Upton to our team as our director of communications. So you will get to know them. I hope you will throughout the course of today if you don't already know them, but they're really fantastic and have just really added tremendous value to the Lincoln Network team. So two quick comments before we get the conversation going. So I have a 3-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter. Both of them are here with me, with my wife. And I had the opportunity to take my son to the Air and Space Museum on Monday. And it was my first time here at the museum in more than a decade, and my son's first time. And so I was excited to take him. When I walked in, I immediately just looked around and just thought to myself, this place is a dump. I mean, the carpet hadn't been changed in probably 30 years. The exhibit signage hadn't been updated in 20 years. And I was just immediately critical. But what was encouraging and surprising to me, not surprising, but refreshing, I should say, is that the reaction that I heard out of my son was, wow, wow. Everywhere we went, he only knows the moon right now with the planets, but everything he was pointing to was moon, moon, and just his eyes were wide. And so I really had to, think about my pessimistic attitude and try and have an attitude of being open to being wowed and inspired by what I was seeing. Because, it is, despite its flaws, and, they're working on updating the museum now, which is great, it is still a marvel of human ingenuity and American innovation that should be celebrated. And so as we go on this journey today, I hope that you will be open to being inspired. And we've worked hard to pull together panels who can offer some inspiration in the discussions. The second comment that I want to make is somewhat of a tribute to Senator Richard Lugar, who many of you know passed away this past Sunday. I had the pleasure of working for him during my time in the Senate on the Foreign Relations Committee. And, you know, one of the things that really impressed me about the senator is he believed that American leadership in the world was indispensable. And, you know, he was on the front lines if it was, you know, dealing with the Soviet Union and bringing that down peacefully, you know, on the front lines of the agricultural revolution and dealing with food insecurity around the world. Before AdTech was a thing, Richard Lugar believed that American innovation, American leadership, makes a difference, a positive contribution to society. And a lot of our conversations will be focused on American innovation and what we have going for us, you know, some of the challenges that lie ahead that we can address. But overall, we believe that American innovation, American leadership in the world is incredibly important. And Senator Lugar and his career really embodied that, as does our next speaker. So for our opening keynote, we have someone who has been called among the most influential and credible Mars advocates of our time. Dr. Robert Zubrin is an aerospace engineer. He is the author of The Case for Mars, and actually set to be released on the 14th of May, so it's not public yet, but you will be able to purchase copies and have Dr. Zubrin sign a copy after he speaks. The book will be released on the 14th of May. He is the author of The Case for Space. So please join me in welcoming to the stage our keynote speaker for the morning, Dr. Robert Zubrin.